Hello, we've had a few requests for a beginner's class, so we're going to give that a go today. Just a nice short 30-minute introduction to yoga. I want you to especially explore using your breath in this practice. It's really important. Some of the scientific benefits of yoga include being able to decrease the secretion of cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone, and help to lower our blood pressure and move us out of our fight or flight response and into our rest and digest part of our nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system. And a lot of this happens through the use of our breath. You're going to start lying down on your backs in Shavasana. So this is our corpse pose. You can let your legs come wide. You can roll your shoulder blades underneath you. And today we're going to place the right hand onto our belly and the left hand onto our heart. And from here, if it feels okay, allow your eyes to close down. And closing down our eyes, it just helps to take our attention more into our own experience as opposed to some of the distractions around us. And to begin the class, just take a few breaths to basically arrive on your mat. Just let yourself settle . Check in to begin. So just scanning from head to toe and noticing how you're feeling or what you notice about your body. Can you notice parts of your body that are maybe a little bit tight or sensitive, even in just lying here? And can you notice perhaps some parts in your body that feel relaxed, light, free, easy, easeful? We're going to move to focus on our breath. So shift your attention to find the flow of breath. If you can, breathing in and out of your nose. And as I mentioned earlier, the breath is so important in our practice. Throughout the class, trying to continue to follow your breath, to bring your attention back to your breath. Let's start to lengthen and deepen our breath together. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and let a sigh out. Don't be afraid of making sound. Deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Inhaling. Last big sigh. Now keep your mouth closed. If you can, inhale through your nose. And exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Exhaling through your nose, feeling your belly button drop back down towards your spine. And extending your breath. Inhale through your nose, filling up your belly. See if you can take an extra sip of air, letting your ribs expand out. And then exhaling, letting your ribs close back down, letting your belly drop back down towards the mat. Extending your breath again. Inhale, fill up your belly. Feel your ribs expand. See if you can take an extra sip of air, filling all the way up into the left hand, into the top of your chest. And then as you exhale, let your chest soften, let your ribs soften, let your belly soften. Another deep breath like this. Inhaling, belly expands, ribs expand, chest fills up. Exhaling, chest softens, ribs soften, belly softens. Taking 3 more breaths like this in your own time. Just really exploring all of that space you have in your body for breath. And creating more space by taking a deep exhale out. We set an intention for class. This is just something to keep our mind grounded. And for today's practice, I'd like you to just let the intention be your breath. So whenever your mind starts to wander, to get distracted, it naturally will. Our brains are made to have thoughts. Just see if you can retrain your brain, retrain your mind, in shifting your attention back to following your breath in and out. Take 1 more breath. Flutter open your eyes if you've closed them down. Release your hands. Bend your knees, rolling onto your side. And just pressing yourself up. And we're coming around to all fours. So coming to bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And we're going to move into a cat and cow shape. So spread your hands nice and wide. We're going to start by inhaling and dropping our belly down towards the mat as you flare your buttocks to the wall behind you. Let your gaze shift up towards the sky and feel your shoulders draw back, your chest press towards the front of the mat. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, so bringing the pubic bone towards your belly button. Round through your spine, drop your gaze down towards your belly, press into your hands. And again, flare your buttocks towards the back of the mat, let your belly drop, let your chest shift forward, gaze up. This is our cow shape. And exhaling, tucking the tailbone under, pubic bone towards the belly, press into your palms, round through your shoulder blades. Take 3 more like this. This is really good postures for helping to lubricate our spine. Also really good to get a sense of feeling this flow of breath with movement. Inhaling into your cow and exhaling into your cat. 1 more, rolling through. Exhaling. Come back to the midline. tuck your toes under. Keeping your toes tucked under, just press your sitting bones back towards your heels. Maybe you step your hands one step forward to come into a puppy pose. You could bring your forehead down towards the mat, or maybe it's just hovering away from the mat. Getting a nice stretch through the soles of your feet and a bit of length through your spine. You could hold here or always come back to this shape instead of down dog. Otherwise, we're going to try our down dog now. Rock your weight forward, pressing up, lifting your knees away from the mat. And we're going to just walk through our down dog. So check that your hands are shoulder distance apart. We're just going to tread through the balls of our feet, bending one knee, then the other, getting a nice little calf stretch. Check your hands are shoulder distance, your feet are hip distance apart. And once those calves are feeling nice and juicy, we'll start to find some stillness. So bend your knees a lot as a beginner. The hamstrings are often quite tight. And we don't want to be worrying about the backs of the legs so much as finding length through our spine. So really press out of all 10 fingertips. Turn your biceps in towards you, in and up. So it's like you're trying to hide your armpits from your neighbor beside you. You want to press your belly back towards your thighs, keeping a soft bend behind the back of your knees, letting your head just relax. Gaze will be towards your legs. And in yoga, this is meant to be a resting posture, but I know for most beginners, it's very intense. So come back to your breath, taking 3 more deep breaths here. It's like an inverted V shape. Keep dropping your shoulders down away from your ears. Pressing your hips towards the back of the room. And then we're slowly going to walk our feet towards our hands, keeping your knees deeply bent. Keep the feet hip distance apart. Once you reach the front of your mat, walk your hands up onto your shins to find what we call a halfway lift, Adho Uttanasana. So you're looking for long backs of the legs, nice and straight. Long spine, so the crown of your head reaching forward. Long through the sides of your body. And exhale, fold back down. This is Uttanasana, our forward fold. Let your head fully relax. Let your knees bend as deep as you need. We're going to take 2 more of these halfway lifts. Inhaling up. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling up. And exhaling, forward fold. From forward fold, see if you can take a hold of opposite elbows and just allow yourself to dangle here. So this is our ragdoll shape. All of these forward folds are really good for calming the nervous system. So with our head below our heart, we get a fresh rush of blood easily flowing down towards the brain, like a little shower for our mind. Also, as we hang here, creating space in between each and every vertebra of the spine, increasing the flow of blood towards spinal cord. Take 2 more breaths. And release your hands down towards the mat. Bend your knees deeply and slowly start to uncurl your spine. Coming all the way upright. Roll your shoulders up, back and down. Pausing for a few breaths just to allow blood to drain back down through the body. Find your breath. We're going to keep our feet hip distance apart for extra stability. As we move through a little bit of flow, sweep your arms out and up to the sky. Inhaling, this is upward salute. Gaze up towards the ceiling, press down into your feet, create some length through the middle of your torso. And as you exhale, hinge at your hips, allow your knees to bend, folding back down into Uttanasana, forward fold. This time as you inhale, you're going to step your right foot all the way back into a low lunge. So lowering your right knee to the mat, and inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky. This is Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Pause here for a few breaths. You want to check your left knees above your left ankle, that you've got a sense of drawing your pelvic floor, lower abdominals in and up. There's a slight magnetism of your right knee towards your left heel, helping to open into the front of the right thigh and hip. Often the shoulders want to creep up by the ears, so keep dropping your shoulders down. We'll release the hands to the mat, stepping back into our down dog. So finding that inverted V shape. Bend the knees as much as you need. Take a full breath here. Pressing out of your hands, lifting your hips up and back. We're going to ripple forward into plank. So as you inhale, bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. Hug your shoulder blades down and in towards your spine. Lower your knees to the mat, slowly keeping your elbows alongside your ribs. Bring your belly all the way down onto the floor. Release the tops of your feet down onto the mat for cobra. So as you inhale, you're peeling your shoulders back, you're lifting your chest up away from the mat. Really press the tops of your feet down into the floor so you feel your knees maybe shift away from the mat. And keep taking the gaze up. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. This helps to strengthen the back side of the body, at the same time opening up across the front of the chest. It's our first back bend. And then as you exhale, keep your knees on the mat, keep your elbows drawing towards one another as you press up. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. We're going to inhale and step the right foot back forward into a low lunge. This time left knee drops to the mat, inhaling arms up. From here, find all those cues, right knee over right ankle, inner thighs drawing towards one another. So a really good stretch for our hip flexor, the front of the left hip and into the left thigh. So the place in the body that often is quite tight, maybe from just sitting, but also if we're in a fight or flight response, the hip flexors is where it tightens without even realizing. So stretching into the front of the hips, stretching into the front of the thigh, lifting up through the torso. Exhale your hands to the mat, step your back foot to the front foot. Feet still hip distance. Inhale, halfway lift, hands onto the shins or up to the knees. Long spine, long backs of your legs. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, we reach our arms out. You can keep the knees softly bent as you rise all the way up to that upward salute. Gaze up to the sky. Exhale your hands down through your midline. Tadasana. Let's take that again. Inhale, upward salute. Press into the feet, length through the sides of your body. Exhale, forward fold. Diving your way down. Keep the knees soft. Let your head release. Inhaling, halfway lift. Long through the backs of the legs. Long through your spine. And exhale, step the right foot back. I realize I didn't do a halfway lift on the other side. It doesn't matter. Reaching the arms up. Squeeze inner thighs towards one another. Soften shoulders down. Draw the lower belly in and up. Feel a sense of chest opening and lifting up to the sky. Exhale the hands down, step back, downward dog, inverted V shape. Plank pose, inhale, ripple yourself forward. Exhale, knees to the mat. Keep the elbows over the wrists as you lower all the way down to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Draw your shoulders back. Open your heart towards the front of the mat. Press down to the tops of the feet. Exhale, we press up. Draw your elbows towards one another. Work the triceps. Tucking the toes under. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath here. Remembering the intention of length through your spine, knees can be bent, heels energetically reaching down towards the floor. Step the right foot back forward. You can always help the right foot forward with the right hand if you need. Reaching arms to the sky. Feel that left knee drawing towards the right heel. Your inner thighs coming in towards the midline of the body. Breath in and out of your nose. Hands to the mat. Stepping the back foot to the front foot. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach and rise all the way up to the sky. Draw your hands down. Tadasana. We're going to move through this again, this time adding in a crescent lunge. Inhale, reach up, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Step the right foot straight back into a crescent lunge. So without lowering the right knee, reach both arms up to the sky. Here in this shape, left knee above left ankle, both hips trying to keep square towards the front of your mat. That back leg is lengthened, so keep pressing into the ball of the right foot. Shoulders soft, maybe arms a little wider if you need some space for the shoulders. Downward dog, exhale, hands to the mat. Front foot meets the back foot. Take a full breath here, feeling the backs of your thighs press into the back of the room. Inhale, ripple yourself forward to find plank. Elbows above the wrists as you lower down onto your belly. Inhale to cobra. And we press up and back, down dog. Torso in one line, strong press up. Taking a few breaths in your down dog. Knowing you could come down to puppy if you need. And we're going to inhale the right leg high. Stepping it forward for crescent lunge. Reach both arms up to the sky. Pressing into the ball of the left foot. Hips coming forward. A little bit of space in between the bottom of the ribs and the top of your hips. Hands to the mat. Back foot meets the front foot. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale to reach your arms up to the sky. Draw your hands down. Tadasana. If your feet are still separated hip distance, now bring the big toes to touch. Bring the inside edges of your feet to touch. We're going to sit down into chair. So Utkatasana or awkward, like you're sitting your sit bones back into a chair. Keep squeezing your knees together, squeezing your inner thighs towards one another. And if you can, see if you can sit all the way down onto your buttocks and come into boat. Otherwise, just come to sit down and bring the knees in towards the chest. It's taking a little moment to feel some activation of your core. Balancing on the sitting bones, shoulders down. Maybe you can have a little extension of the legs for an extra challenge. And wherever you are, bring the feet to the mat. Bring your hands alongside your hips. Shift your hips forward so they're right behind your heels. And lie down onto your back. Keeping your palms facing down alongside your hips. We're going to roll up into bridge pose. So on your next exhale, start to draw the pubic bone towards the belly button, rolling up through your spine, one vertebra at a time, lifting your buttocks high up away from the mat, pressing down into the soles of your feet, pressing down into your palms, finding a beautiful bridge, strengthening the back side of the body, opening through the front side of your body. Always coming back to your breath. And slowly rolling back down. One more like this. Inhale. Exhale. Feel each and every part of your spine as you ripple up. Maybe at the top you might like to try rolling your shoulder blades underneath you and interlacing your fingers. Reaching your knuckles towards your heels. This is optional, otherwise keeping your palms pressing down into the mat. This gives us an extra little bit of stretch through the front of the chest. Release the grip of your hands. Slowly rolling back down. Pausing here. And we'll take a reclined pigeon. So bring the right ankle and place it onto your left thigh. Take your right hand and gently press your right knee, just above the right knee, back towards the front of your mat. You might just hold here if you can already feel a stretch for that right hip and buttock. Otherwise, you're going to release your left foot from the mat, reach your right hand through behind the left thigh and start to hug your left thigh close towards you. And just bringing your left knee as close as you need to until you find that nice stretch along the outside of your right hip, maybe into the buttock. And keep coming back to those nice long breaths. Lifted the left heel, bring it back onto the mat. Going to come into a twist. Reach your arms out at shoulder height. Cross your right knee all the way over on top of your left knee. You're going to press down into your left foot so you can lift your hips up and take them slightly to your right. Then allow both knees to drop down towards the left. Take your gaze maybe up towards the sky, or if it feels okay in your neck, gaze back towards your right hand. And you can play with the position of your knees here, just finding a twist through your torso that feels good for you. These twists are a nice little way to massage our internal organs. Again, really good for the nervous system. And bring your legs back to center. Release the cross of your legs. And we shift into our reclined pigeon on the left. So this time it's the left heel onto the right thigh. Left hand gently pressing that left thigh back towards the front of the mat. Might be enough just holding here. Or release the right foot, interlace your hands behind the right thigh. Draw the right thigh towards you. Pausing wherever you feel that stretch. And releasing into your reclined twist, letting the arms come out at shoulder height, Cross the left knee over the right, press down into the sole of your right foot, lift your hips over to the left, and then let both knees drop to your right. Gazing up towards the sky, or maybe taking your gaze back towards your left hand. And bringing both knees back to center. Releasing the cross of your legs, hugging your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a big hug and squeeze, maybe a little rock side to side. And we're going to release down to find a final Shavasana. So taking the legs back long to how we began class. Let one hand rest onto your belly, one hand onto your heart. If it feels okay, closing down your eyes. And just taking this moment of rest at the end of class to let those postures and their benefits integrate into your body. There is nothing left to do here other than trying to let your body rest, surrendering the weight of your body down into your mat, letting your breath flow as it pleases. And just like as we started our practice, take a few moments to scan your body from head to toe and notice any changes in your body. Noticing how you're feeling now and the effects of your practice. And when you're ready, reach your arms up overhead, taking a big stretch long through your body. Rolling onto your right side, just allowing your knees to bend. Take a few breaths on your side. And press yourself back up to a comfortable seat, cross-legged, whatever's comfy. Taking a moment to roll your shoulders up, back and down, finding a nice tall spine. We finish our practice by bringing our hands together and bowing to one another. Namaste. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any questions or comments, and maybe we'll do another extension of this soon.